Hey guys, I'm Little Art Demon and welcome to my channel, and thank you for clicking on today's video. I hope you're doing well. We'll be having a few different drawings today, where I'll be experimenting with halftones. I'll try a different idea in each of them and I'll share with you what I learned with all of these. The video will be a little bit shorter though, because I wasn't feeling super good to record, but hopefully I can still explain the process well enough. And before we get started, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I make drawing videos where I talk about shows, art and occasionally some personal stories. And with that out of the way, let's get started with this video. For the first drawing I decided to make a black and white piece, or grayscale. I did some experimenting before just to get how everything works and then started to make this portrait. This isn't any particular character, just a drawing I came up in the moment, all of them are. I think the design was looking cool and for once I didn't have to worry about what colors to pick. I just needed to work with the tone and textures. I made a base layer of the colors just to get the base looking good, and then it was time to add all the textures and details. It took me a little bit of time to get used to the layer option, but it was really fun to use. The program you're seeing on the screen is Medibunk Paint on my computer, but it's also available for Android and iOS, I believe. In this program you can create 8-bit layers, and those layers translate the luminosity into opacity. So if you use black it will be totally opaque, and if you use white there will be no opacity, it works like an eraser. You can also change the color of the layer. It is preset to black, but you can change it to any other color. In this one I used some grey tones, keeping it monochrome. I usually don't work in black and white, so that was already an interesting exercise. But after having the base done, it was really fun to experiment with all the layers. I personally really like the dots, those were the main ones I used. I used a few different sizes, but when working on the same shape I tried to keep the size of the dots the same, because they would line up perfectly and it's honestly very satisfying. I did change the size of the dots in the jacket sleeves though. I wanted to add some more details in the outfit. I added those two stripes and I like how it looks. The only places where I changed the textures from dots to lines was on some parts of the shading. I like how those look, but overall I prefer to add textures by using the dots. You'll see in the next ones that I use those almost exclusively. But the black and white drawing is done. I'm happy with the results and it was a good warm-up for this technique. Let's go to the next one then. And for the second one we are working with color again, but I decided to use halftones just for shading. They ended up a little bit all over the place with the shadows and highlights, but I didn't use them for texture this time. And I was very happy to work with color again. I like to work on black and white, but I was in need of a little more color to feel better. But the process was very simple, I was already a little bit used to it. This time I kept all the dots the same size, besides the background that has the bigger dots. I used them for the blush as well and I think it worked perfectly. I'm in a phase where I really like to add textures to my drawings and this was a good way to do it. I may start to include it in more drawings here and there. I found it very relaxing to blend the shapes because you see the dots change and it just looks very nice. This layer type is also compatible with the different blending modes, so you can still change it to multiply or add or whatever you'd like. I think it looks really cool because if you're looking at the whole piece, it doesn't look much different than my usual drawings, but when you zoom in a little bit you can see all the different dots. I really like it. And I just love how the drawings turned out in terms of line art too. I think these characters look really cute. At first I was going to make 3 full body drawings, but it wouldn't be possible this week. I'm happy I was able to finish these ones at least. But I think we can go to the last one now. And for this one I decided to use textures everywhere, not just the shadows. It won't look much different than the previous one, but I added a little bit of texture all over the drawing. It's not a big change, but I wanted to try it out as well. But do you have any other ideas on how to use halftones? I like these ones, but I'm sure there are many other uses than these. But anyway, in these I added a small layer of dots in every layer, besides the white parts in the eyes and teeth. And then I shaded, like in the previous one. I like to add 2 layers of shadows and highlights because it added some depth. With the layer settings you can change the color of the layers, but if you want to have like a color gradient on a specific layer, you can do it, it's just a little more work. But you can just add your colors on a regular layer and then clip it to the 8-bit layer where you have your halftone. You just can't merge these layers, which I find a little bit inconvenient, especially because I tend to use a lot of layers already. If I can't merge them it can get a little bit out of hand. But it's just something to keep in mind. I'm already trying to get better at that, so in some way this exercise worked for that as well. But I think that's it for this week's video. I hope next week we have a longer video, because it will be about Good Omens music again and I get very excited about those. So subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you like this video don't forget to leave a like and comment your favorite drawings. And thank you so much for tuning in for this video, I truly appreciate you guys and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!